Kiss, marry or kill. Options: Linux, Windows, iOS.
Should there be a dating app exclusive for developers? Like, instead of swipes, you can say that raise PRC.
Conversations should be comments.
What, according to you guys, are the most common mistakes when people try to upskill?
Internet is vast. You will get lost. You don't know what exactly to pick and study. Don't wait until you're completely prepared. Okay?
I think I was in the bottom line of my class. Head of department was always like, you can't do anything in life.
That was most embarrassing.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing extremely well. So this video is going to be very different from what you generally see on my channel. In this video, I'll be sharing you 3 amazing stories, 3 different people who come from 3 different backgrounds. So we'll have a lot of interesting things in this video. So make sure you watch the video till the end. So before we start, we'll have a small introduction. We'll start off with Gauri. So Gauri, can you just say a couple of lines about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Gauri. I'm a 2020 graduate. I transitioned from Accenture to Altimetric in 2023.
Cool. So we'll move on to Chetan. So Chetan.
Hey, hi Raj. I'm Chetan. I'm a 2020 grad of PS University. I've graduated in computer science. So I currently work at Amazon as an ST2. So that's about it.
That's great. Moving on to Shubdeep. Wow.
Hi Raj, my name is Shubdeep. I'm from Chhattisgarh. I graduated in 2023 from VIT Vellore, and I'm currently working in Cardiotrack Bangalore.
Shubdeep, I've heard amazing stories. Like before this podcast, they're saying me that you just recently graduated and you didn't sit for the on-campus placement and you joined Cryo and then you did some amazing things. So can you just tell about your transition story?
So when I was in VIT Vellore, during that time, due to my poor academics, you would say, I couldn't sit for my placement. So that time I realized one thing, ki, since I'm not going to be able to sit for my college placement, so the main thing I got to focus on is going to be skills. So through there, I discovered Cryo and I joined in Cryo and I learned, I skilled up, I leveled up, and then I got this job.
So you're not able to sit in the college placements because of your backlogs?
Yeah.
If you don't mind, how many did you have?
I'll tell you, it was just poor academics from my side. I got 1 back in my first year in physics, and after that, we went into lockdown and everything. And to be honest, I forgot I had a back. And during placements, I couldn't sit. I remembered, oh no, I had a back, and then everything fell down. I was like in the worst mental state I could ever be in. I was like, all 4 years, why am I in college? Like to sit for placements to get a job. And that time I was like, I need to do something. I got to get things on track quickly. And
You managed something on campus. That's really great. Moving on to Chetan. So I heard that you joined, like after college, you joined as an SDET, right? So did you get that on campus or off campus? And what's your transition story? And now I suddenly hear that you're working as an SD2 at Amazon. How did this sudden transition happen from an SDET to an SD2 probably in a couple of years?
Yeah, so I think after the college immediately, I got an internship for 6 months at a company called Infoblox. There, my role was around a lab automation engineer. So the team was a QA team, but my role was writing automation scripts in Perl and Python. There I had to manage a data center, basically writing scripts which turns the servers on, turns the servers off, handling all switches, basically handling all data center. Apart from that, also doing managing the public infrastructure of the company, Azure, GCP, and I think one more is Azure, AWS. Yeah, I forgot mine. Okay, yeah. So these were the 3 public infrastructures which I was managing. So my role was around cutting the cost of that. So after that, I was looking for a change because I realized there's not many things which I can do being in a QA, because my role will be only limited to what my dev team is working on. So then I realized I think it's better for me to make a early move on right now and switch to dev. So that's where I think I was knowing Cryo from my college days, because I thankfully to my college professor, I was introduced to Cryo in my college days itself. I did the Cryo summer of doing as well. So after that, I remember there's Cryo. So I just signed up for the full stack development program. I think I took sometime 3 or 4 months or 6 months. I don't remember exactly, but I did that completely. And then I was looking for a switch, as I mentioned, right after I realized that. So I took help from the cryo recruiting team as well. But I think luckily there was one email which came to me from Amazon that's trick like just after the interview. I think it went through very well, and I got a role as SD1. And I think there what helped me majorly from cryo was learning by doing. I think in Amazon, I think you will know this better that you need to research a lot on your own without having to take help from others. I think that skill is one which I'll pick from cryo, and that has really helped me to grow.
I'm assuming since you said that you transitioned from an SD1 to an SD2 in around 1 year.
1.5 years.
That's not usual, because usually it takes around a couple of years to transition from an SD1 to an SD2 role.
Yeah.
So probably that learn by doing definitely helps.
Yeah.
But yeah. So coming to you, Gauri. So I heard that you transitioned from a service-based to a product-based. Like he said to me what he was doing as an SDET. So what were you doing at a service-based company, and what happened that you suddenly thought that, okay, I need to go to a product-based thing?
So when it comes to service-based companies, so it's more like the task that you get is more kind of repetitive, and you don't get much, things to explore on.
Okay.
So and I think the growth is more in product-based
Okay.
compared to service-based, and I was looking for transition towards a better company with better package as well.
Yeah.
And so I have 2+ experience so far, and then in October I switched to a company called Altimetric in Java backend. Which is more of Java, Spring Boot, and SQL. That was my tech stack.
Got it. So it definitely pays you more. And is the work does the work excite you more at this product base, or is it similar to what you were doing at a service based?
No, it's definitely much at a faster pace, and there's so much to learn so much to learn every single day from also my teammates. Like they're all very inspiring, very supportive.
That's nice. So I heard that all of you got something during the Hall of Fame that Cryo organized. So I actually want to know what this Hall of Fame is all about.
So every year, a lot of people graduate from cryo, and cryo actually recognizes the people who like do a lot of work and do really well in their course. And towards the end of the year, they give awards to all of this. Like myself, I got the inspirational beaver, and a lot of categories are there. For example, like SD2 to SD3 and different types. So they like pretty much cover all the kind of transitions you can think of.
Cool. So what was yours?
So I got a exceptional transition career award for moving from QA to SD role.
SD2, not an SD. What about
And
yours?
mine was exceptional career transition from service to product company.
That's nice. So now that we know about Hall of Fame, Cryo is trying to create more and more impact in 2024, and that is the reason they're organizing something as Cryo Mission Scholarship, and it will be valid only till January 31st. So all the details and everything you'll find in the description. So I'll have this thing, this is basically rapid fire Jenga round. So what will happen is, I'll start with this one, I'll explain the rules basically. So what happens is this is rapid fire. So I take this, starts with me, I pick up one chit, there's a question, I need to answer it. But here comes the twist. I cannot answer it straight away. I'll have to go here. I'll have to basically play the Jenga and make it difficult for you so that you make it fall. And yeah, that's what I will do. That keeps on rotating like this.
Yeah.
And whoever makes the Jenga fall, he has the punishment. And the punishment is, you'll have to drink this, mysterious, amazing drink. Disclaimer, it's non-alcoholic, so don't get excited. So yeah, I'll start off. So I'll pick the first question. Again, I can answer and you guys can also join in. Okay, cool. So I'll read out the question. Oh, it's an interesting one. Should there be a dating app exclusive for developers? If yes, what would you name it? So I'll answer this and I'll play it. So I think there should be, don't you think?
Yes.
What should be the name? Like, if I have to think about the name would be, what would be the name? Making two people meet. What will be it? merge, something like this. Git merge. Git merge. Git merge. Git merge. You guys got any names on mind?
I was
Anything?
thinking in terms of some searching algorithm, ki like out of all the billions,
Yeah,
we are
searching
going to have
algorithm.
a search algorithm for you or something like
And
So-
that.
we can call the request which is send us PRs.
Yeah, request. Yeah, exactly. Like, instead of swipe, so you can say that raise PRs. Raise PRs. And when she accepts the
Yeah.
it should be
Conversation should be comments.
yeah.
Take it
Exactly.
system.
when this request gets swiped, you can have it like merged
Yeah.
something or something like that.
No. Panditji is the reviewer.
Panditji. Anyways, we'll just move on to Gauri.
Yeah.
Certain.
Commit, yeah.
Get comment.
Let's check your product company knowledge. Guess the company based on the tagline.
Okay.
Chalo Niklo. Is it like the translation or something?
Chalo Niklo is basically, so I think I'll read out the question. The question states, let's check your product company knowledge. I have to guess the company based on the tagline. The tagline is a Hindi one. It says, Chalo Niklo, go out. Hey,
The
this is-
tagline itself is in Hindi or
Yeah,
is it
the
a
tagline
translation?
is in Hindi. It's not a translation.
Okay.
We'll have to answer it. Chalo Niklo. Whose tagline is this? We'll have to play the Jenga as well. You guys can guess? Anyone?
I'm thinking, Chalo Niklo.
I have the answer, by the way. I know the answer.
Yeah, what's the answer?
I want to try?
Chalo Niklo.
It's.
Do you have to play Jenga?
I'll give you a hint. We use it on a daily basis.
Is it?
We used it today to come to the office.
Uber?
No, Ola.
Hola.
Oh.
Brother of it, yeah.
Ola.
Yes, I'll pass on this to you now. Your turn.
Okay, so my question is, okay, what is the most embarrassing moment in your career? Okay, so I'm gonna answer this question. So one of the most embarrassing moments in my career was like a learning lesson for me to not copy and paste anything from the internet
Okay.
on your direct terminal. So what happened? Ki I was doing some kind of git pull merge or something, but I hadn't done the initial commit. So and there was some issue. I don't know what happened. I copied and pasted some code. My whole code base was gone from my computer cause it took it to that Git's initial stage, which was empty. So it made everything empty. I had to write like 3 weeks worth of code again, and it was like it just like my whole timeline was extended 3 weeks. I had to explain, ma'am, like, ma'am, sorry, I copied something. It removed everything, and this is horrible, man.
This happens at GPT. Like if you try to copy something, most of the times it's wrong. You'll have to verify it nowadays. Anyways, I'll come to you.
What about you guys?
I think embarrassment. Bhushan was embarrassing.
Yeah, embarrassing
I think
moment.
similar one. I think before I was very much familiar with Git, right? I randomly used to just check out and create multiple branches because of that, and did not understand the correct merge process, and did not know that there's this command called cherry pick, which is very useful. Yeah, so I think I messed up a lot for that, and it costed me 2 or 3 days for that only. I think similar
Yeah,
experience.
it's very embarrassing.
Nice.
So for me, it's like initially, without even checking the Slack or without even Googling it, sometimes I used to directly ask for help from my colleagues.
Yeah,
So that was a little embarrassing.
For me, it's been completely different. So I usually record my videos during the night hours, and I usually work during the night hours as well. So when I was working at media.net, they never had this thing that office hours. Like just do our work. I came to Google and it was like office hours, meeting hours. Every time I never attended the meeting the first 1 month because I was sleeping because I was working during the night hours. I was sleeping in the day. Such an embarrassing thing. They've thought that they made a wrong hire.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Because every time there was a meeting, they were texting me, Raj, are you joining? And I replied after 4 hours, sorry, I slept. Like,
How's it now? Like you changed this?
yeah,
schedule or-
I kind of changed it now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get into this day zone now. But again, it's still messy. I still end up missing my manager's messages a lot of times. He has understood that this guy is beyond my reach. Anyways, what's your question?
As a developer, how much coffee do you drink in a day? I think this is not a right question to me. I do not drink tea or coffee.
Okay.
So
Shall I replace the question? How much alcohol do you drink in a month?
still zero.
Still zero. Okay, that's
I
interesting.
only drink Boost. I think
Boost, okay.
everyone in my company and even roommates make fun out of me. Like,
This Amazon office has this boost thing in
Yeah,
their
yeah.
cafeteria. I was working at Amazon for 5 months. All they had was, so they had
Okay.
cold drinks locked.
Okay.
They don't give you cold drinks for free.
Okay.
They give you just the boost and
Ah.
milk
and all coffees.
all coffees and everything for free.
Okay.
Like, give me chips, give me, no, you
Yeah,
have to pay
yeah,
for
the
that.
boost.
It's like,
And now they started to introduce this. Like, your team gets a separate allocation of snacks, and you have to go first in first. Like, first in first. So you have to go early to get the snacks.
how about you? Like,
No, actually, I've never been to office.
work from home.
Yeah,
That's a luxury.
so I think it's not mandatory as of now. So like maybe from March or April, it's going to be mandatory. So that's when I'm going to start.
How do you like? Do you actually drink coffee to work? Because I've heard that a lot of people to work longer hours
Yeah.
take these coffee sips
Yeah,
every.
I drink once in a while. It's not like I'm not made it a habit, but then
Okay.
if I need some extra energy, then a coffee shot is a must.
Cool. You'll have to play it. Yeah. You're not following the
Oh,
rules.
yeah.
One hand.
Oh, only one thing.
Yes. Not finger. One hand.
Okay. Now it's tricky.
You'll have to take it from the bottom. Hint.
Is it? Okay. Wait.
Oh, damn nice, man.
Okay, my turn. So I'll pick up something. This pink color. Does college tag, CGPA really matter in the long run? Or when I'm looking for a job, I can say it proudly, no, it doesn't matter. I think my lectures are still being played on every IIT. I'm still not from an IIT. So it definitely doesn't matter. And regarding CGPA, I think I was in the bottom line of my class. My head of department was always like, he can't do anything in life. I was getting like 7 CGPA around, so I think CGPA is not that important. I think once you get into that one stuff, one company, after that it keeps on rolling on your name. I think you guys also agree on that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. CGPA is just for like entering if you're doing off campus.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, you're the best example for it.
That's
Like,
what I'm
yes,
telling
it doesn't.
you. Yeah, CGPA doesn't matter.
I think it's just for,
I
like,
agree with this.
Kiss, marry or kill options: Linux, Windows, iOS.
okay,
So yeah, so I would kiss iOS, marry Linux, kill Windows.
why?
Like iOS is more fancy and
Okay.
and Windows are not developer friendly, so I
Okay.
would like to kill it.
I think +1 to that. And
Yeah.
with those,
Okay.
And then Linux, obviously developer friendly it is. So yeah, I would like to marry it.
Interesting. Can I get the chin?
Yeah.
I'll also decide on it. I think I
will-
love iOS.
I love
think
it.
I
I'm
love
like a
iOS.
huge Apple fan.
I'm in
boy.
Apple ecosystem
Yes.
entirely
Yeah,
because
man.
not about iPhones, only Mac.
it's not about iPhone. If you get into that Apple ecosystem,
Yeah.
this gets so seamless.
Yeah.
With everything with the AirDrop, with everything,
Yeah.
it's pretty
the
seamless.
ecosystem that they've
Ecosystem
built
is really
around their
good.
Yeah.
products is too good.
Too
Like,
good.
you cannot come out of
Out
the
of it.
ecosystem.
Once you're into that
Into
Apple
the
ecosystem, you're
Apple
done and
ecosystem,
dusted.
Like, yeah.
I think most of our companies do give Mac, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Mac,
what
right?
I want current
Yeah.
and didn't give.
No, actually for me it's Windows.
Okay. Okay, so I understood your answer. Okay, so it's I think your turn.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'll take the pink one again. Let's see. So my question is, one superstition that you follow before running code.
Before running code. Not
So-
superstition like.
So not before running code, but I have one superstition. Ki like never say anything negative about your code. Or like, bro, this is not going to fail. How
I
is
think
this
the
not?
famous one, right? Do not touch if it's working.
It's like, for example, when you're debugging, you're like, how will this break?
And also there's one more famous thing on Instagram, like don't let your computer know that you're tensed.
Okay.
That one.
So like there is no superstition, but I don't say anything negative about my code when I'm testing it. I'm like, bro, this is going to fail too. If I just say like, for example, one time I was testing this application in which I was sitting with one colleague and he was like, listen, do one thing. So when the loading screen comes, turn off your phone, keep it there for 30 seconds and turn it on again. Let's see if it will work or not. I'm like, what will happen if you put it on sleep? Nothing will happen. I did that and it failed. And I'm like, how do I fix this thing now? Like, how will I go? Like, my phone is off. How do I debug this thing? Ended up like some Android issue only, so got fixed. But yeah, there's no superstition, but
A common thing na, when something doesn't work in your phone, switch off करके देख ले, switch off करके देख ले. It's coming to you.
how about you guys? Any superstitions with you?
For me, you can pick it up, I'll say. So for me, I think it's nothing much. I usually, like, I have this bad habit of reviewing my code. Every time I probably raise it to someone, I do a review of its
Self-review.
self-review is something which I do. So it's not a superstition, it's more like something which I've taken.
Practices to follow.
Yeah, I've taken as a practice.
Yeah.
I just don't, I know the code is good, but I still tell myself that, okay, go through it.
Yeah.
I think this is something which I've learned over the period.
Yeah.
I think before even raising this, I think in Amazon,
Yeah.
it gives the metrics of cowardly failure and
True,
failures.
true,
So
true.
I think I track that before publishing that, so that at least the minor comments which are
You can reduce
Yeah,
it. That saves a lot of time.
I'll go next. Have you ever felt like punching your interviewer?
Share your experience at the Jenga. You're cheating. You should.
Okay.
You should answer it.
Okay.
You should play while
Have you ever
answering.
felt like punching your interviewer? I haven't had such experience so far. Like I felt where like punching an interviewer so far. I think
Play.
it was good.
He's not playing. He's smart. He's just using his brain.
Yeah.
Again, he used two hands. Cheating. But anyways,
no,
it's okay. It's okay. One hand.
But I don't find any occurrence where I felt like punching my interviewer.
You guys? It must have happened, no? You said the correct answer and you're like, he said, no, it's not correct. Might have happened.
Yeah, once what happened is my interview got over in just 10 minutes. Yeah,
This
that
happened-
was
this-
most embarrassing.
I think this happened with me. Like there was one startup where I was interviewing, looking for a switch, right? Director was very much impressed. The tech lead was very much impressed. There was one SD, like recently hired SD. I know because the company where I interviewed was one of my friend's company. So that guy just started the interview and ended it within 7 to 8 minutes. Just one question and done. That was like ghosting me.
Okay, I felt like punching once. So when I was in college, there's this internship thing. We look for internships. So I was looking for an internship. So at that time, I was reaching out people on LinkedIn. And there's this one guy who said, I'll give you a referral.
Yeah.
But before that, I'll take your interview. And it took me like 2 hours of interview and he didn't give me a referral.
Really?
So I'm like, who takes an interview for a referral? And I was very, very, pissed at him, but can't do anything. I'll pick up this. Kiss, marry, kill. Options: Python, JavaScript, Java. Okay, so maybe I will. First, I'll think of this. I think I'm gonna make it fall.
Have to be rapid.
Yeah, I'll have to. Very good. See, it's fun. So I think I will. I'm a big JavaScript and Java fan, both. Because I'm kind of a full stack guy. So maybe I'll marry Java. Yeah, because that was my first love. Yeah, because I started with Java. I'll marry Java. Really kiss JavaScript because, hookups are good. So, and then I can.
Python?
Yeah. And then I can kill Python because, it's a snake kind of thing. What about you guys? Like,
I would marry JavaScript,
Yes,
man. That's
I would
the
marry
fir-
Java.
I think
marry Java?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm the only one with different opinion because only I started my first language which I learned in computer science was Python in college. So I think that will be something which I'll kiss because that's my go-to language anytime. After that, I think because I started doing backend, I'll do Java. JavaScript I'll kill.
If you can have dinner with any famous person, alive or dead, who would it be and why? So yeah, the answer would be Sadhguru because I'm a huge fan of him. I got into meditation and stuff because of it, and I really think he's doing a great job.
I take from the bottom, maybe.
I think it was small. It should fall you.
I'm twisting it.
Okay. So Sadhguru was the answer, right?
Yeah.
For me, I think it'll be Dhoni. I think I'm a huge cricket fan and I'm a big admirer of like the way the person he is, like the human being he is. I think I'm a big fan of him for that reason. I think if I'm given a chance, I think I'll just go and have a dinner. Forget about dinner. Even if I can meet him, I think that's it. What about you guys?
Yeah.
I think I'll choose Rahul Dravid for the same. Even I love watching cricket, but I love the calmness and the Test cricket which he played. Right.
Okay.
I love Rahul Dravid.
Nice.
Yeah, so for me it would be Avicii actually. He's a music producer, DJ. His music is what shaped my whole childhood, all the songs and everything. Unfortunately, he died though. One of my biggest dreams was to like make a song with him or something, but like that would be really great if I could have a dinner with him.
So next time we'll have a podcast where we'll discuss a career transition from from software engineer to DJ stuff, right? Cool. So let's skip it, right? Let's skip it. Yeah, so let's skip the punishment. That was just for the video purpose. So that was about the fun part. Now let's come back to something serious. We will have some serious career-related questions to these people because they have really done well in their career. So I'll have the first question, and that is a common question from all of us. Now, what according to you guys are the most common mistakes when people try to upskill? So that is something that I'd like to put on. Maybe I'll start with Gauri. What do you think? What are the most common mistakes?
Yeah, the thing is, according to your level of experience, you need to know certain things, right?
Mhm.
So you need to work accordingly. Like internet is vast, you will get lost. You don't know what exactly to pick and study. So you need to focus on things according to your level of experience, and then study accordingly. Make a plan and study accordingly. So that would help, I guess, instead of getting lost. So that would
Yeah,
help, right?
what I've seen people do is start, let's say they're preparing, let's go multiple places. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And eventually they mess it up.
Yeah, they get overwhelmed with so
Yeah.
many things.
And all you need is hardly like 3-4 months of
Yeah.
5 months of preparation with a solid, like a simple
A
roadmap.
structure, a
Yeah,
roadmap
a
would
simple
be so
roadmap.
nice. Like have 4-5 projects that cover the whole
Yeah,
language,
that's
the
it.
basics, then you can do anything.
I think the college also plays a role here because if the college gives us right guidance that at the end of fourth year you'll just be judged on DSA and your projects. Like at least I'm not saying don't do all fancy research and projects. I'm saying if we know that this is our end
Yeah.
goal, we would be better prepared.
True. Any other mistakes that you can think of?
I think not as part of upskilling, but there is one. I think there's also I've learned it from trial that while we apply for any place, right? I think there is one stigma which comes like if I'm applying for a role which is higher than me, the job description says a lot of things, but in general, if you go and ask an interviewer, they are not looking for all of the qualities. Even
True.
if you make 50% of that, 60% of that, you will be hired. So that is something which stopped me from applying for better roles in the initial stage of my career. And there was one more mistake that applying for the job roles with same resume. That was one biggest blunder. I think that also there is one website called Resume Worded. I think that I used for applying to different JDs. After I used that, right, everywhere I applied, I got an interview. And this I think I've told it to all my friends, and they are using it now.
I think it's really important that if you're applying for a role, like putting it out to all the users, if you're applying for a role, go through the job descriptions, pick out the keywords, try to put that into your resume because there's some automation which actually cancels it if your resume doesn't contain those keywords. So I'll move on to the next question. So two of you are working professionals. You were a student while you are interviewing. So the one thing that people do is they start preparing and they're like, okay, I'll do the switch. They take a lot of resolutions, and after 1 month or 1.5 months, they give up. And it majorly happens because you have to manage a full-time job. You'll have to go to college as well. So the time constraint is there. So I'll start with you. Like, how did you manage working like full time and then preparing? How was your routine like?
I think only thing which I realized so far is like it depends on the individual. Like there are few people who work a lot, and then there are few people who like finish off their work within the stipulated time and then give their time for the self growth. I think this is something which I've learned now, that you have to give that time to yourself. So once I figured out that, I think when you mentioned, right, we stop after 1 month. I think that is where me and my college friend played an important role while switching. We had a tracker of the sheet, like the sheet which you have prepared, DSA sheet. We have two more columns, my name and my friend's name there. So what we did was we kept track of the number of questions we solved each day. So that way we know that this guy is solving these many questions this day. So that is motivation for
Inner
me,
motivation.
so that I have to
Healthy
do that.
competition. Healthy competition. I think I'll agree with you. Healthy competition is indeed important. Like I also had a roommate. We used to code together, and now both of us are doing really well. I think that is important. And coming to our next question, it's an interesting one. How many lead code questions did you solve?
So around 125 to 150, which was enough.
Okay.
Like I followed the cryos sprints. So
Okay.
there was DSA 1, 2, 3, DSA 3 light.
Yeah.
So I just followed those. I didn't do anything extra like separately in
Okay.
lead code.
Nice.
So around 125.
For you?
Yeah, I think I did not do lead code from the beginning. I was following multiple platforms like HackerRank, HackerEarth and all, but only after like looking at the stylus DSA sheet, I think then I started doing it properly. I think I've done close to 130, 140 questions. After cracking the interview, I've stopped it.
What about you?
135.
135. Actually, I also believe that if you have to cover up all the concepts,
Yeah,
I think near about 150
Yeah.
is standard.
Yeah.
If you don't know DSA from the basic, then you have to.
Yeah.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
But if you're preparing, I think covering up 150 around should be sufficient because
Yeah.
then the concepts are very limited.
Yeah.
The only thing is
lead
people
code
don't get.
path is also there. It covers
Yeah.
pretty much everything, and it has
Correct.
something question.
Right? The only thing that I'll say everyone is don't mug up every question. Any question that you do not mug up. Instead of it, take concepts that will actually help you. So if you take 150 concepts from 150 problems, that actually covers most of the things. So coming to the next question, that is, I'll ask you guys to give some personal tips for interviews. Since I think you had a lot of interviews for startups, right?
Yeah.
So as we know in FANG, it's technically DSA, like most of the rounds,
Yeah.
like it's DSA heavy rounds, right?
Yeah.
So for you, while you're interviewing for different set of startups,
Yeah.
what did you find in common, or what was your?
So most of the startups, they wanted to know that if I know the language well enough to understand how the language works, not just ki what are the syntaxes, what for loop and everything. They wanted to know ki if I know how, for example, in my case it was JavaScript. They wanted to know how everything was different at the grassroots level. Like for example, if a variable is being stored, where is it being stored? How is it different from this thing? They wanted to know different kind of fundamental concepts which we don't really use. We use, but we don't realize. A lot of time, for example, like there are 3 ways to declare a variable: var, let, and const. So like how are they getting differentiated in the memory segment? We don't know. While we might be using it. So in my case, most of the startups, they wanted to know if I know the language, how it is functioning, because that for them that might have been like a better indicator if the person knows or not, because syntaxes and all everyone is going to Google, but these fundamental concepts you need to know to understand any problem.
So you're working in a service-based company. So when you're interviewing for these product-based companies, what were the level of questions? Because in service-based, we know, all of us know that the code quality isn't that great. So what were the common questions, or what will you recommend anyone who's in a service-based and is preparing for a product-based company?
Yeah, so mainly if you can give HackerRank practice test, try that, and also be good with the fundamentals of the programming language of your choice, and any framework on that would be good. Yeah, that's it.
So, Chetan, you cracked Amazon, which is one of the FANG companies, and a lot of people do aspire to go to that. So what's your tip? Is it DSA just?
Yeah, first basic, that's the minimal thing which everyone should do. I think DSA is must needed for sure. I think one tip I would recommend is like like fundamentals is definitely needed, but I think one thing which will help a lot of people is like knowing what kind of questions are asked and what kind of format it is. Like currently, if you look at a 60 minutes interview, it will be one medium question, and if you really solve it fast, then they'll go for a hard question or maybe one more medium question. So you need to spend more time on the medium questions rather than focusing on time on hard questions. If you stay, I'll solve all hard questions and then go for interview, you might just end up too much time on preparation. That is one thing. I think then you can use lead code section for knowing what questions are asked in a company.
Interview experiences, in short.
Yeah, any website. I think that will also help.
Yeah, I think if you're preparing for any companies, I also did that.
Yeah.
When I was preparing for the companies. What I did was I just went through interview experiences. I know DSA, how to judge it. I just took up the interview experiences. I was just seeing if I can solve these questions that are asked. There were questions which I was not able to solve, so I was again preparing them. And that's definitely a way. So let's go back 1 year when you guys were starting off, right? So today is like who you are today. If I give you a time machine that you have to go back, what will you tell that Gauri of 2023 that do this thing differently or something like that?
I would say don't wait until you're completely prepared. Okay, just keep applying, and you never know when you might get selected. And like if you keep waiting that I'll start giving interviews or I'll start writing my resume only after I complete my preparation, then it'll take too much of your time. And sometimes, suppose if your target is 6 months, it may end up even going beyond a year. So make sure that you're simultaneously learning and applying as well, so that like your consider your interviews as your mock interviews, so which will help your future interviews. So that's kind of one thing.
I'll add on one thing. In case you feel like you're not prepared, go for the lighter companies, like not the bigger ones, so that you can have a preparation round and then probably you can go for the bigger ones. Like go for similar packages so that you have an idea. That's one thing that you can do, but you are never prepared. Trust me, no one is never prepared.
I think having one offer at hand gives you a lot of
confidence. It does. So yeah, Chetan, with you, one tip that you will go in a time machine and give.
I think this is probably related to profession. Like in company currently, last year, if I see my work, mostly it is related to backend. So probably I would say to myself, probably try to find some work related to front end as well, because that is something where I've done my preparation and basics, but I haven't used it in real.
In depth. Got it. What about you?
For me, one tip which I would like to give is to learn how to think like a programmer. Not just learn any language, the syntax and everything. Understand ki like what it's like, whatever the parts, whatever the things inside code are like tools. So for example, if I tell you to build a door, what are the tools that you're going to need? That thing should come to your mind. That thinking we need to develop. If you develop that, any language you pick up, all you need to do is think for the tool, and you just have to Google what tool's name is this. That's all. Just understand how to think like that. Like for example, if I tell someone ki like, bro, print 10 lines, the first thing that would come in my mind like a programmer would be write a for loop. So that tool that is in my head, that wiring right in the head, how to think like that, I feel like that's the most key important, because that is going to help in the longer in the job also. For example, if for any new challenge comes, if that mindset is there, right, how to think like a programmer, any language you can. For example, in my job, I was mainly working with Zoho, and in that they have made their own language called Zoho Deluge. I learned their whole scripting language in 2 hours, just because I understood what are the tools and I just had to get familiar with them. So like that tip I would give myself, ki like don't just learn JavaScript, learn how to think like a
Programmer, correct. Yeah, for me as well, I did Angular in Google's, right? So now when my interns are writing code in React, I can actually read it, because I don't look at the syntax. I just think like a programmer that, okay, what are the components doing? What are the inputs being taken? How is the component being generalized? That is definitely important. So let's probably time for wrapping up this wonderful session. before we wrap up, since you all are cryo graduates, and I've been personally associated with them for so long, and as their motto says, I think it's written over there, learn by doing, right? So let's share one learn by doing experiences of four of us, so that people can listen to it and they can actually, it's just not about the motto. Anyone listening to this podcast, I think just do not go through blogs, just do not go through videos. You gotta do stuffs to learn. So starting off with you, like one learn by doing experience that actually helped you grow.
Yeah, so just like I mentioned previously, like instead of just asking help from someone immediately, try it on your own, like multiple times. Only when you fail at it, only then you can ask your senior, like, I've done these many things, these are my findings, and is there any other way I can look into it? Like, that is the approach which should be followed.
Yes, initially, all of us, when we join a company, we always think the seniors know so much,
Yeah,
and
imposter syndrome.
yes, and it always happens that whenever we are stuck, we're like, okay, let's ask the senior, because he'll just answer it. He's like a god human being for us. He's gonna answer it. But trust all of us. Everyone is a human being. Everyone is a programmer. So they also take time. They also debug. So the same thing you can do as well. So take some time, go into Google, search your errors, try to debug, because that will help you grow as an engineer. So coming to you, one learn by doing experience.
What happened in my company that I'm currently working in, so they don't have a current B2C app.
Mhm.
So I went to my boss and I was like, listen, I want to make this thing and I want to make it using a new technology. I said all this and I came and I was like, I have no experience in doing all this, so how am I going to do? I started by making the most basic thing that anyone would make is a to-do app. Okay, that through that you'll learn input, output, and how to manage data inside the app. And through that, I made the to-do better. I made the to-do even better, and I integrated backend into it. And I was just doing. And after, like, I think this whole project took me around 2.5 months. I had learned React Native, I had learned Pocket Base, I had learned how to integrate it all together. It's like it was just I was like thinking ki how I was like I want to learn this. I was like, let's add this. I want to learn back and I'll add this. So like that one to-do app grew into such a huge thing just by I was like, I want to learn this, I'll do this. So that would be mine.
Coming to you, one experience.
I think so far, as I mentioned, right, coming from a QA background where my go-to language was Python, coming to Amazon where all the developers are required to code in Java. So I think I was familiar with code. Problem was not writing the code in Java. Problem was understanding of the framework. So I think that's where learning by doing small stuff. Say I started by just utility functions in Java, then moving on to big APIs, then going on to build services. I think that's where I learned like how Java Spring framework works and how it is being used. I think that was one learning which took me a year, but I think it was helpful.
Yeah, like a lot of people do this mistake when they try to learn Java. I think we're gonna watch some videos. It's gonna explain us all these annotations.
Yeah.
I'm gonna understand
Yes.
all these dependency injections, everything.
Yeah.
Actually, unless until you write it,
Yeah,
then the API runs. Then you debug in that IntelliJ, right?
Yeah.
You don't understand where the code flow is.
Yeah.
It's important. I'll share mine. It's actually an interesting one. So I started at Amazon, right, as a backend developer, and I wrote a lot of APIs as you are writing, and then I moved on to Media.net. So I wrote an entire testing framework over there, because they wrote a lot of code but never had a testing framework. So I wrote an entire testing framework in Java. And then I moved to Google. So I was like bored with Java. So I did it for last 1.5 years. So at Google, I was looking for a front end tool because I wanted to learn that part as well. So I learned over there Angular. And the first day I was like, oh, holy shit, what is it? Because I never understood anything. So again, I was writing code over there. So that is one experience. I did learn Angular in depth, and probably as of now, I do code very fast in that language because I understand it in depth. After that, I was thinking that, okay, I'm not writing something end to end. Now, when I say end to end, you write every like front end, back end, then you host it, then you have the monitoring stuff, then you have everything, like literally like an entire product. That's when I decided that, okay, we'll be migrating Take You Forward. So Take You Forward is on WordPress. So we decided we'll migrate. So we started working on it. And when we are working on it, I can actually visualize that entire thing. So I'm learning a lot over here when I'm trying to migrate. Just not an engineer, probably a tester, everything. Like I'm learning over here. So yeah, that's something. But yeah, that's my story. So guys, it was wonderful talking to you. So
Same here.
yeah, so I'll wish you all the best.
Thank you so
And
much.
yeah, we have some small gift hampers for each one of you. So I'll just hand it over to you. The first one will be girls first. I'll have it for you, and then I'll have this one for you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And the last one, probably you are the youngest,
Yeah.
if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
much.
Yes, so I hope you enjoyed this one. We tried something different, and if you enjoyed this one, make sure you put down that on the comments. We'll be reading all of them. And if you haven't checked out Cryo's Mission Scholarship Program, the link is in the description. Make sure you check it out. With this, I'll be wrapping up this video. Let's meet in some other video. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.